TAKMIL Teach Your Kid Make Individual Life is a registered nonprofit 501c in USA. It is registered in Canada and in Pakistan. TAKMIL Teach a Kid Make Individual Life is a mission to educate out of school children in Pakistan. Let's start with the problem statement and the national education challenge of 22.8 million out of school children in Pakistan. If we try to understand this number, we rank second highest in the world with 44% of Pakistani population between the age of 5 and 16 years. And unfortunately, the number of 22.8 million has not changed for past 10 years. But it is important to understand where these out of school children are. So out of these 22.8 million out of school children, 23% of these children are in urban areas. But in urban areas like in Karachi, Islamabad, or Peshawar, and their slums and peripheries, these children are out of school because of barriers like child labor, poverty, and begging mafia. But if we concentrate on this 77%, that is 15.4 million out of school children, they are concentrated, they are located in rural regions. And over there, the problems are much different than those faced by the children in urban areas. Here in rural regions, these 77% of out of school children are in villages, small pockets of population where there is no access to schooling between 5 to 10 kilometers of their village. There is no internet, there's no electricity, and there is no infrastructure. So this is the target audience of TAKMIL. So if I define the target audience of TAKMIL, we focus on out of school children who've never been to school in life, ages of 5 to 16 years. They're living in rural communities and they have no access to schooling. And this is how TAKMIL fits into the bigger picture on a unique target audience of the 22.8 million out of school children. So if we come up with the solution of TAKMIL, our model is based on two hypotheses. And the first part is that traditionally, our conventional education system is structured in a way and on an understanding that every child has a different learning curve. That is why every child completes different learning outcomes at different grades. But the first hypothesis that we designed for this multi-age out of school children is that the children between the age of 5 and 15 years, they have the same learning curve. The second part of this hypothesis is that the blended learning, the technology and books, they perform better than the traditional system of education. So in order to build the first evidence of our model based on our hypothesis, we started our pilot project on 15th January 2017 in a small village of Mardan, KPK. Over here, what we did is that we picked 50 out of school children between the age of 5 and 15 years. We provided them with video lessons and technology on daily basis, and gave them the target to complete the basic literacy in a period of 3 months. And that was the pilot project, its duration was 3 months. And during these 3 months, what we did, following our scientific approach, we conducted periodic pre and post assessments. And we did a learning comparison of these children. And that was the first time that after the end of these 3 months, we saw a significant improvement in their learning outcomes for basic literacy. And that was the first evidence that we built, we generated based on our hypothesis. But that was just the one evidence that we had. Then we reproduced the same results in different regions. We set up our pilot projects in KPK, in Sindh, in Punjab, in Balochistan, in different contexts, different cultures, different villages. And then when we got the same results from all of these pilot projects, that was the evidence of our hypothesis. The second thing is that then we came up with the well-defined, accelerated, and hybrid model. We had curriculum experts, and that is when we designed and developed a tailored curriculum for out-of-school children between the age of 5 and 15 years, integrated with video lessons on daily basis. So the children start from their basic literacy, moving on to the primary curriculum in 12 months. And then once they complete primary curriculum, they move on to the elementary curriculum in 18 months. But for every single lesson that has been designed in this curriculum, it is aligned with the video lessons that are aligned with the student learning outcomes. And this curriculum is aligned with the national standards and international standards for primary or elementary education. So next, I will give you an overview of how this model works in an actual environment. Imagine yourself in a desert area, in deep village of Mirpur Khas, where there are 25 to 30 out-of-school children, how this model would work over there. So as I mentioned earlier, that there is no electricity, so the system is supported by solar panels. Secondly, there is no building, and we don't build infrastructure. TAKMIL doesn't invest on infrastructure. So there are two aspects to it. Number one, the system is portable. It is handy. It's in a box, and within that box, everything is integrated in it. The learning management system, the video lessons are inside that box. And then it is portable. It doesn't need to be fixed in one place. And the idea is that because we do not have the specific building, so we use common community spaces. And those common community spaces could be better, could be any common space that is given and provided by the community for 3 to 4 hours on daily basis for 6 days a week. Then these communities, these areas have no internet. And that is where our system has the capacity to work in an offline environment and act as a local server. So in offline environment, the mobile devices, 20 to 25 devices or tablets can connect with this system and can work perfectly fine. They can watch the video lessons, they can do the assessments and everything. So in order to deliver the video lessons, this box, this Respi is connected with this mini projector, and on daily basis, these children learn from these video lessons and the books that we have provided. Once these children get the content delivery is taken care of, then comes the student assessment, and this is where the student application comes in, and which we have developed in-house, and every assessment is aligned with the student learning outcomes. The next component is the teacher, actually. And the teacher is a community member who has a minimum qualification of intermediate, and they are extensively trained to play the role of facilitator, not exactly teacher, kind of facilitating that learning environment, because the curriculum and video lessons are standardized for all children. And the same teacher has access to this application and can manage the system, attendances, the monitoring and evaluation. So all of this is happening over here in the interior of Mirpur Khas, or let's just say Fata or Barkhan. How do we know, sitting here thousands of miles away, that all of this is actually happening? How do we know that this child is actually learning from this model? And this is where the part comes where these teachers actually go to a place where there's internet once a week or maybe once in 2 weeks, and just press one button and all the data comes on a cloud. And this cloud has all the data of that child and their class, including their age factors. It's a data-driven model. So I know that a child enrolled in a school of TAKMIL in Mirpur Khas or a child enrolled in Jamrud or Fata, how they are performing, what are the factors behind their performance, how we can improve their performance. And this is a centralized dashboard. So this is our geographical footprints from 2017 onwards to 2022. All of these areas are remote areas: Jamrud, Fata, Jafrabad, Barkhan, and Zob, Khuzdar, Mirpur Khas interiors, and including the areas of Punjab. So all of these areas are remote where there is no access to schooling. So this is our impact from 2017 to 2022. We have outreach across 4 provinces and 24 districts. 45 rural communities have been empowered through this system, through this model of education by TAKMIL. We have total of 69 facilitators who are community members, who are trained on this model, who advocate and facilitate this model. 2,300 children have been provided basic literacy through this model. 1,700 have completed the primary literacy, 645 students in the elementary literacy program, and 185 children transition to formal schooling. So when I talk about formal schooling, these could be government schools, these could be private schools, and for every province, we have an understanding with their literacy department. So once our children complete the primary literacy program, they come and they evaluate our children, and once they assess them externally, they certify them, accredit them, and they can move on to the formal education. So these are just a few clips of the mini Pakistan under the umbrella of TAKMIL who are currently getting education. You can see the cultural diversity from KPK to Sindh to Khanewal, Punjab, Nankana Sahib. There are some schools keeping in mind the cultural sensitivity of those communities in Fatah and Balochistan who are specifically for girls over there. There are 70 to 80 girls who are in this school and they're getting education while they have access to female facilitators and the community has no objection to it. So then a common question that we get is what is the future of a child in the TAKMIL system? So as I mentioned that these children start from the basic literacy that is completed in 3 months, then they complete the primary education in 12 months, then they can move on to the elementary education in 18 months in the TAKMIL system, or they can exit to mainstream formal schooling if that is applicable, if there is a reasonable access to formal schooling, government or private. Otherwise, if there is no availability, they move on to the elementary education. Once they complete elementary education, then there are different options because it's not like one size fits all, but it depends on the child age, gender, their preference, and what kind of choices are available or what they want to do. So number one is they complete the elementary education, proceed on to secondary education. We have an understanding with Allama Iqbal Open University. They have a secondary education distance learning program so they can complete the higher education. Number two is the digital and vocational skills so that we can train them on different skills and they can start earning and sustain their future through their own skills, because we know the freelance market of Pakistan is growing and that the digital skills are mostly in demand. Third is the entrepreneurship that applies to a certain age group. And if these children have some ideas and they're above the age of 15, they could be bridged to these programs and can sustain themselves so that these children have a sustainable future. Then comes a question of the cost per child per year. So we provide books, stationery, and assessments and activity items. We provide the part-time facilitator salary and digital technology. In order to provide all of these items and resources to a child, the cost per child per year is $100 for primary education in 1 year. And if there is a class of 25 children, it's $2,500 per year. And all the donations that are directed or channelized towards these children are zakat eligible. There could be more information that you can get at takmil.org. So what are our goals? We have now a journey of 5 years where we are heading. So currently in 2022, we have a total outreach to 2,500 children. For 2023, we have defined the target to reach to 10,000 children or 200 rural communities. Our 5 years goal is to reach 1 million children by 2026. And our final long-term goal is that by 2047, that is when we will be celebrating 100th Independence Day on 14th August 2047. There will be zero out-of-school children, and that would actually be TAKMIL Pakistan. So every child has access to education. Our financial targets for 2022 are to raise $1 million to raise funds and support 10,000 out-of-school children in 200 rural communities. These are some of our partners and supporters. There are some alumni associations and some other organizations in North America and locally in Pakistan who are working with us in different capacities. So we have a motto of Fab se Tabir and Tabir se Takmil because the dream of Pakistan by Allama Muhammad Iqbal was turned into reality by Quaid-e-Azam on 14th August 1947. But Takmil, its completion, is still left. And that is the motto of Takmil, that with education, we would be aiming at Takmil-e-Pakistan. Thank you. These are our website URLs on different social media platforms. You can reach us if you need more information. And if you need more information, feel free to email us, call us, contact us. Thank you.
22.8 million invisible souls living a life of deprivation in rural Pakistan. Look closely in their eyes, dreaming for hope, for education. TAKMIL brings opportunities in these remote communities. To learn, to grow, and empower with education. Through tailored curriculum and advanced technology by community, facilitators trained to accelerate the change. TAKMIL has transformed more than 2,000 lives in 30+ remote communities.
मेरा नाम मोहम्मद हसन है। मुझे दूसरे स्कूल वाले ने दाखिला नहीं दिया था। जब मेरे अब्बू ने मेरी अम्मी ने जहाँ भी जाते थे वो स्कूल कहते थे हम इसको दाखिला नहीं दे सकते क्योंकि ये न लिख सकता है, न बैठ सकता है, न पढ़ सकता है। जब से मैं स्कूल में आया हूँ मुझे अच्छी तरह जो मिलता है वो याद करके आता हूँ। मैं पढ़ लिख कर उस्ताद बनना चाहता हूँ।
मेरा नाम अहमद है, मैं 7 साल का हूँ। मेरे गांव का नाम अब्दुल करीम खास के लिए और मैं मीरपुर खास में रहता हूँ। मेरा प्रोविंस सिंध है। स्कूल पहले मैं जब दाखिल हुआ था तो मुझे कुछ भी नहीं आता था। मैं ग्रेड 7 में हूँ और मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा है। उर्दू सीखी है। ये उर्दू ज़बान हमें पहले तो उर्दू ज़बान में कोई चीज़ आती भी नहीं थी और अब हमें सब कुछ आता है। मैं बड़ा होकर टीचर बनना चाहता हूँ। मैं भी ऐसा ही अच्छा टीचर बनूं और अपने जो बाकी बच्चे हैं उनको पढ़ाऊं।